Chapter 30 of Angel Food, Little Talks to Little Folks by Rev Gerald T. Brennan. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Recording by Maria Therese. The 10 Little Fairies. When I was a boy, I always liked Sunday night. Sunday night was story time at my house, and my father knew hundreds of stories. Just as soon as supper was over and the dishes were cleaned and put away, my father would begin his stories. I don't know where he ever heard all the stories he told. Perhaps his father told those stories to him when he was a little boy. But wherever my father got those stories, they certainly were dandies. My father's best stories were about the fairies. I used to love to hear stories about the fairies in Ireland. You know, fairies are little tiny men about 2 feet high. The fairies were supposed to live down under the ground. They slept all day. They worked and played all night. You could never see a fairy in the daytime. They came out late at night when everyone else was asleep. Well, here's a story that my father told lots of times, and I always loved it. There were 10 little fairies who lived together in a house down under the ground. They were good little fairies. They worked hard and they kept their house clean. And the 10 little men were carpenters. They could make anything. They could make chairs, tables, desks, houses, boats, and they could make everything. Every night with hammers and nails and saws they worked. One night one of the fairies got an idea. "We'll build a big long ladder that will go way up to heaven," he said, "and then we'll climb the ladder and pay God a visit." All the fairies thought that it would be a swell idea to visit God. They started to work. Week after week and month after month, the fairies worked every night on their ladder. Every night the ladder became longer and longer. Then they'd try the ladder. They'd stick one end of the ladder into the ground, and they'd climb and climb. But the longer they made the ladder, the farther away the sky would go every night. The 10 little fairies worked 5 years. They worked 10 years, 20 years, and every day their ladder became longer. But then, when they would climb the ladder, they would find that the ladder was shorter. They couldn't figure it out. The fairies did want to see God so much. They were trying awfully hard, but they just couldn't get up to heaven. Then one night the fairies got a big surprise. It was Christmas Eve. All of the people had gone off to midnight mass. The fairies came out of the ground to go to work on their ladder, and were they surprised! There was a ladder, not their ladder, but a ladder of gold, and it stretched away up so high that it seemed to touch the sky. At the top of the ladder was a lady, and she was waving to the fairies to climb up. So, one by one, the fairies climbed the ladder of gold, and the lady came halfway down the ladder and helped them up to the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little fairies climbed to the top of the ladder of gold, helped by the beautiful lady. When the 10 little fairies were all on top and safe in heaven, the beautiful lady took the fairies to see Jesus. What a Christmas present that was! The 10 little fairies saw Jesus on his birthday. They saw Jesus on Christmas Day. And were they happy? They were so happy that they danced and sang and danced some more. The 10 little fairies all got up to heaven because they were helped by the very beautiful lady. Now, who was that beautiful lady? She was Mary, the Blessed Virgin Mary, the mother of Jesus. When our Blessed Lady saw 10 little fairies so anxious to get to heaven to see Jesus, why, she was right on the job to help them. That's just the way Mary is with everybody. Mary wants every little boy and girl to get to heaven, and she wants to help you get there. You know, Jesus isn't stingy about heaven. Jesus wants heaven to be filled with boys and girls. Mary helps Jesus fill heaven with boys and girls. Boys and girls, we are just like the 10 little fairies. We are trying to go to heaven on our own. We are trying to go to heaven by ourselves. But like the fairies, the more we try, the farther heaven goes away from us. Jesus won't let any of us into heaven unless the Blessed Virgin Mary okays us. We have got to have Mary help us. We've got to be one of Mary's friends. We must pray to Mary. We must pray to Mary every day. It's so easy to sneak in a Hail Mary during the day. Why, you can sneak in lots of Hail Marys every day. You can say them walking to school or riding in the streetcar. I know lots of people who do that. No matter where you say them, Mary will be listening. Why not say the rosary every day? You can say the rosary in about 10 minutes. Why not say the rosary before you go to sleep at night? Say the rosary while you are standing in line waiting to go to confession. Don't forget the Litany of the Blessed Virgin Mary. You'll find that prayer in your prayer book. Say the litany every night before you go to bed. These, children, are all prayers that Mary likes. If you say them, you will get to heaven very easily. It's pretty nice to have someone to help you get to heaven. Mary will help you if you will call on her. Mary just puts her arms around the boys and girls who pray to her, and she never lets any harm come to them. I think that's pretty nice, don't you? Let's be like the 10 little fairies. Let's have Mary help us to reach heaven. Pray to Mary every single day of your life. If Mary helped 10 little fairies get to heaven, she will certainly help you get to heaven. I know she will, because Mary likes you better. End of chapter 30.